You know those characters that suffer so much that it seems like the writers are taking out some deep-seated issues on them? The characters that everyone else and even the universe seem to use as their personal punching bag? Well, those characters are buttmonkeys. And that's not some weird new term I'm trying to coin here. That's what they're properly called in the almighty archives of TV tropes. These characters can be insufferable or lovable. If they're executed well, you'll find their suffering enjoyable, and if they're not, you'll probably pity them. Or you may just hate their presence in the story altogether. But how do you make a good buttmonkey? To answer this, I'm going to take a look at some examples of buttmonkeys in video games. See which ones worked, which ones didn't, and why. Now, why video games over books, TV, or movies? Well, games let you interact with characters in ways that other mediums don't. Even in linear games where you can't change the relationship between the player and the buttmonkey, you still have a much more direct connection through playing and existing alongside them than you get from simply watching them or reading about them. Also, you're held to a much lower standard if you just stick to video games. I'm going to start off by talking about a buttmonkey who's practically a poster child of the role being executed well. Pierce from Saints Row. Pierce is introduced in Saints Row 2 alongside Shoji to act as a lieutenant to the 3rd Street Saints. These two, alongside Johnny Gat from the first game, and Carlos, who you meet in the opening, make up the primary cast, and of course, the player as well. Throughout the game, Pierce is routinely given a...
And when that happens, we only have about 45 seconds before the backup generator turns on. During the blackout, though...
Hold up, man. I mean, I love the dream house you built here and everything. But what if we just start here, walk into the casino, and just shoot all the motherfuckers that are between us and the money?
Well, you know...
It would be a lot faster.
And a lot more fun.
Yeah, but...
Fuck it, let's go. Good call, Johnny.
Alright, there's gotta be someone you can pump for information. What about Donnie?
He got manhandled twice. Pretty sure he's out of the loop, if not dead.
Hey, what about their
What about their tattoo artist?
Good idea.
What just happened?
Shondi had a good idea.
Man, what the fuck ever? She stole my...
Don't be jealous, Pierce. We're all on the same team.
I can do more to help.
Do you know how the Sons of Samedi are still moving product after we torched their farm and drug labs?
No.
Then shut the fuck up.
Why you gotta be like that?
Hard time. Despite all this, you never feel particularly bad for Pierce. Now, he isn't a bad guy. Sure, he's full of himself and a bit annoying, but he's still a likable character. You don't feel bad for Pierce because he goes through the least hardship of the main cast. I won't spoil much. I really recommend Saints Row 2, even with the PC port being fucking terrible. But the character who goes through the second least amount of hardship is Shondi, who gets captured by her ex, held at gunpoint, and saved by being hit by countless flashbangs. And the others, it only gets worse from there. I think that's a big part of what makes a good buttmonkey. It needs to feel fair. Since Pierce doesn't suffer as much, him being bullied doesn't feel unfair. In Saints Row the 3rd, Pierce's role shifts. Johnny Gat is not present for most of this game, and Pierce slides more into Johnny's role as the player's best friend and right-hand man, with a fun sing-along between them early in the game. Pierce is also a bit less whiny and arrogant in this one to fit the role better. However, he doesn't fully escape getting made fun of. In Saints Row 4, Pierce moves back more into buttmonkey territory, being teased and bullied a bit more than he was in Saints Row the 3rd.
Think of your worst asset, multiplied by 1,000.
So, Pierce times 1,000?
However, at the end of the day, it's made clear that the player character appreciates and respects Pierce, with the game acknowledging how ridiculous it would be to actually routinely treat somebody you care about this way.
Are you sure you wish to retrieve him?
What kind of a question is that?
An honest one. Historically, you spend nearly half your time ridiculing him.
Yeah, but it's all good fun.
Making a man who risks his life for you and what you stand for the butt of your comedy routine is all in good fun?
Yes?
You're a terrible person.
Now I want to take a look at a buttmonkey that doesn't quite stick the landing. Not because they're unlikable, but because they're too likable. The player feels bad seeing them struggle rather than finding it entertaining. Ryuji from Persona 5. A reoccurring theme of Persona 5 is, bad thing happens to Ryuji, now laugh. And these scenes faceplant more often than they land. Sure, sometimes these scenes work, but many times you either feel bad for Ryuji, or the scene itself is just bad on so many levels. Unlike Pierce, Ryuji isn't the best off in the cast. Every main character has pretty serious troubles that they've had to face in their life. Ryuji suffered abuse from multiple adults who were supposed to look out for him, and is now being raised by a single mother. It's hinted at that they're not the best off financially, too. Seeing him get given shit by people who are arguably better off never sits well. Punching down just isn't fun to see. Ryuji is a flawed character, of course. Everyone in Persona 5 is flawed, but Ryuji's flaws don't properly fit the way he's treated. If a character's flaw is that they're arrogant, the bullying then fits into this flaw and functions as a way to take them down a peg. Ryuji's flaws are that he's loud, vulgar, hot-headed, and horrible at subtlety. He also isn't, the brightest. But he isn't arrogant. He may act the part sometimes, but it's clear that that's not really who he is. And despite the flaws that he does have, he's very likable. He has positive traits that outweigh the flaws while fitting in well with them. He's caring, brave, and incredibly compassionate about what's right and wrong. And when shit hits the fan, he's with you 100%. He's lovable and balanced. He's a great character. So seeing him be the butt of so many jokes feels completely undeserved. It's not fun to see him struggle. Scenes that are supposed to be funny are just upsetting. Here's the thing. Persona 5 actually has 3 primary Buttmonkeys. Ryuji is just the one who gets picked on the most times. The other 2 Buttmonkeys are much better executed. They're Mishima and Morgana. Mishima is a more serious take on the trope. He is treated like garbage by near everyone from the first act onward, and his arc is growing and improving himself throughout the game with the help of Joker. He starts to grow out of his role in an unhealthy way at first, becoming vain and selfish until the player helps him find the right path. And it's got a nice payoff at the end if you max his confidant, and it's just well done. The player can also be mean to Mishima throughout the game, and many times you're actually supposed to be, with the nicest options being neutral at best. But as he grows as a person, these options appear less and less. Again, it's quite well done, so Persona was able to nail this trope when they took it more seriously. Now, Morgana. Morgana is the person who bullies Ryuji the most, by a lot. Pretty much every interaction between the two is Morgana insulting Ryuji, Ryuji going, "You little," and then insulting Morgana back. Morgana is full of himself, weirdly obsessed with An, bossy and annoying, and he cannot take what he dishes out. His main positive is his usefulness to the group, as well as being real adorable. The thing about him being useful to the group is that it takes a very meta form. He allows you to create tools and guides you through the metaverse. Tool crafting is a gameplay system, and it's not really something that gets inherently associated with Morgana. It's just something Joker can do, and the explanation is that Morgana helped you do it. Morgana can guide you in a couple ways. Either he can give you tutorials, which are incredibly annoying if you replay the game, or he'll take the form of a car and let you drive around mementos. But again, these are just part of the game that are then associated with Morgana so that they have an explanation. This leaves Morgana feeling much more flawed than his positive attributes make up for. He really is cute though. Because Ryuji is just more likable than Morgana, it makes it all the more upsetting to see Morgana then pick on Ryuji. You naturally want to take Ryuji's side and defend him. And if the player is gravitating towards the Buttmonkey's side, you messed up your Buttmonkey. Now, characters that exist to inspire sympathy and make the player feel protective of them aren't bad, but those aren't Buttmonkeys, those are woobies. And again, TV tropes. I honestly don't know who comes up with these names. Now, as I said earlier, Morgana is in fact a Buttmonkey himself. He gets picked on a decent amount, especially by Ryuji, but that's usually in retaliation. Morgana tends to be the one who gets the abuse from the universe itself, and this is very satisfying to see. It's fun to see Morgana knock down a peg. There are also some top quality opportunities for Joker to bully Morgana. Morgana is a great butt monkey, because it's fun to see him struggle in a comedic way. It helps too that these scenes are generally just better executed than the Ryuji ones as well. However, it seems Atlus thinks it's more entertaining when Ryuji struggles, or even that he deserves it more than Morgana does. Hey, spoiler warning, but I'm just going to be spoiling a stupid arc that no one likes, so it doesn't really matter, but if you care, just skip to the time on screen. There's this whole arc where Morgana gets upset because he feels underappreciated, and the fact that he's been so mean to Ryuji the entire game from the very start makes it hard to take it seriously. And it interrupts the game as well, so the fact that it's intrusive and unearned makes Morgana even less likable, and the whole arc falls completely flat. Morgana even has the opposite problem of Ryuji, where scenes that are supposed to be more serious and upsetting are instead laughable or even, actually funny. Now, near the end of the arc, it's kind of said that the reason it actually happened was that Morgana felt like he was letting the group down, but that doesn't really mesh well with how the arc played out. They should have focused solely on this idea of Morgana feeling like he is a failure for the group. It would have made the arc much more hard-hitting and much less annoying. I can't help but wonder if Atlus thinks that being vulgar and loud is more offensive than it really is. Maybe it's more offensive in Japan than it is to Western audiences? I don't know. At the end of the day, they did manage to successfully make 2 out of 3 of their Buttmonkeys into successful Buttmonkeys, but they colossally fucked up that third main one. Before I move on, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying Persona 5 is a bad game, and it's not even just decent. It's amazing. It deserves all the praise it gets. It's just that it really does falter in this one area. Now, I want to talk about my absolute favorite Buttmonkey. One who is not only a character that gets bullied in the game, but one I believe was explicitly designed to be bullied by the fans, and they succeeded there. The one, the only.
Lorenz Hellman Gloucester. You will want to remember it.
Lorenz is a brilliant Buttmonkey whose treatment transcends the game he is in. He was being made fun of and memed from the very second he was revealed. In his character reveal from before Fire Emblem Three Houses was released, you know, the game he's from, his description was, "He comes from a noted noble family. Although he tried to approach multiple women in the monastery, the results are poor." And if that wasn't enough, his own voice actor, Benjamin Diskin, described Lorenz as that guy who shows up to your birthday party, says, "My presence is my present," hits on your girlfriend, eats your food, drinks your booze, tells you his parties are better, and doesn't understand why everyone hates him. And then there's his hair. By God! As soon as people saw his hair alone, it was inevitable. And this is all on purpose. His hair is supposed to look absurd. He's supposed to be somebody who looks like a clown and thinks he is gorgeous. Lorenz has very, very few redeeming features early on. The game goes out of its way to make him completely and totally insufferable. He's even given a ridiculous idle animation that was unique to him until the Ashen Wolves were added. He is confident that he can outshine anyone while fumbling at whatever he was trying to do.
Something appears to be wrong with my throat.
He thinks dirty work and commoners are beneath him, and he won't take no for an answer to the point that he believes in a grandiose conspiracy before believing that women simply aren't interested in him. Here's the thing though, Lorenz is also harmless. It never feels like he's a threat to anyone. He's competent enough to do tasks needed of him, so he isn't deadweight, and his personal mission is how you get the best item in the game. And you can only get that mission if he is in your class, meaning you want to recruit Lorenz Hellman Gloucester in every single playthrough of Three Houses. When he doesn't take no for an answer, all he's going to do is ask again like a child wanting ice cream. Because that's what he is. A child. There are also plenty of signs that despite everything about him, he's a well-intentioned and good person deep down. Like helping Leonie with her injured foot. Or helping Mercedes with her injured foot. Wait. All of this results in a character that's fun to be around, because he's simply the worst. Lorenz is absolutely bullied by plenty of characters in the game, generally being called out for one of his numerous flaws. And you never feel bad for him, of course, because he's an arrogant, privileged noble. Lorenz is truly genius because he's the punching bag for the characters in the game and for the community and players as well. If you've looked at pretty much any page or site with Fire Emblem memes on it, you will have seen countless ones about or including him. The internet is a wild frontier, and it can be very hard to predict what will become popular. Trying to control or be in on the joke rarely ever works out. But they managed to make a character designed at the core to be clowned on, and they nailed it. The craziest thing about Lorenz, though, is his amazing growth and character development. He is really so much more than the clown that I just described. It's simply the first half of the game that he is like this. He grows so much without simply changing into a different character. His development is so brilliantly done, and it connects to the game and the gameplay in such a deep way, that I can't really go over it right here. I'm hoping to dive really deep into this specifically at some point in the future. After looking at these examples, I feel like the formula for a good butt monkey has finally presented itself. Now obviously, this formula can be broken or subverted, and you can still see amazing results. But for that to happen, the writers have to have a clear vision and really put in the work. With that said, I feel like these three aspects are what make a good old-fashioned butt monkey into the perfect punching bag. The butt monkey should be better off. It simply isn't fun to see somebody get given crap by people who are better off than them. Pierce has a pretty easy ride through Saints Row 2, so him getting shit from the characters who had a much worse time is fun to see. It's sort of evening the playing field. They should deserve what they get. They should have done things that make the bullying or the abuse feel like karma. Morgana is such an asshole to Ryuji that when he's bullied, it's cathartic. And they don't just have to be an asshole. If they're just incredibly annoying to the point that the player hates them, that also makes it very fun to see them suffer. And finally, they should be arrogant, completely full of themselves. You're not going to feel bad when somebody who thought they were way better than everybody else loses some self-assurance. Them being insulted and humbled brings them closer to a healthy picture of themselves. Lorenz is totally full of himself, and seeing him less confident after being insulted is a good thing to see, and thus it's enjoyable. Now, I'm not saying that butt monkeys have to, or even should, be all of these things, but if they're not at least one of them, it's probably not going to be that fun to see them struggle. And obviously, all of this only applies to fictional characters. Don't use any of these as a justification to mistreat someone real. Having one person always be the butt of the joke may seem harmless or fun, but it will start to wear down on them. Hey, thanks for watching this video. So, normally I'm going to have an end card here, but since this is my first video, I wanted to just take a couple minutes to talk about my plans for this channel. You may have noticed that the resolution was a bit wonky and that the audio wasn't the most balanced. The good news is that I figured out why these things were happening, and they shouldn't be happening in future videos. You know, this is just... it's like pancakes, the first one's always a throwaway. So, the quality should only go uphill from here. I'd like to mainly do video essays like this, where I sort of analyze aspects of games specifically, and try and either dissect them or just give my take on them. And for the upload schedule, I'm not quite sure yet, because I like doing these sort of long videos, but they take a very long time to edit. So I'm probably going to lean a bit more towards more frequent, shorter videos, and when they get uploaded will depend on the video I'm working on. So it might be like 2 weeks for like a 5 to 10 minute video, or maybe like a month for another near 20-minute video. It's still too early for me to really set a concrete schedule, but I don't intend to ever go more than a month without a proper upload. if I'm working on something really big, I'll try and also work in some small stuff to upload during that time, and I will keep you updated on what I am working on. So since this channel is just starting out, every like, every comment, every dislike too, and every negative comment as well, they all help, and every subscription goes a massive way. So if you liked this video and you want to see more from me, let me know, give this a like, subscribe. I don't intend to try and shill like this in every video, but, it's very, very important this early on. So thank you for watching.